When the beat drops, you know exactly what time it is. Welcome to the Blitzes. We'll preview this Week 3 matchup between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Denver Broncos. I am Evan Closky, joined as always with my dude, David Schiele in the backfield.
I love being in the backfield because this is an anchor by there we go. Anchor by committee kind of tandem thing right here. So check this out. We have a great show planned because we're going to break down the Baker Mayfield, Chris Godwin connection, why Todd Bowles' defense could have another big game despite the injuries. Plus, for the first time this season, we keep it a buck with press conference quotes at the podium.
Ooh, so let's get started. This is the 10 and 10, the 10 most important stories you need to know entering this matchup between the 2-0 Bucs and the winless Broncos. It's the 11th all-time meeting between these two squads. The last time Tampa Bay saw Denver was in Week 3 of 2020 en route to a Super Bowl title. Tampa Bay won that game, but actually trails the all-time series 7-3 and hasn't beaten Denver at home since 1999. Not only could the Bucs stop that 25-year-old drought, but with a victory inside Ray J, it will be the first time since 2005 the team has gone 3-0 to start a season. John Gruden, head coach.
Yeah, so that 2-0 start has been great, Evan, but they're trying to get past that Week 3 woe. Now, did you know the Bucs are the first team to go 2-0 in 4 straight seasons since the Rams did it from 2018 to 2021? Liam Cohen was a part of that run in L.A. Of course, now he's part of the Bucs staff as offensive coordinator, and he's helping that offense do big things. At number 9, Chris Godwin is all the way back and looking real comfortable in that slot position. Only Nico Collins of the Texans has more receiving yards than Godwin. He's being targeted nearly 33% of the time by Baker Mayfield and has already matched his touchdown total from last year.
That it?
And you know what? We shouldn't be surprised that Godwin is popping off like this. Since 2019, Godwin has 50 games where he's caught at least 5 passes for 50 yards. That ranks 4th in the NFL, trailing only Travis Kelce, Stephon Diggs, and Devontae Adams.
Yeah, the ad-lib abilities with Baker Mayfield has been something special to watch. At number 8, is Mayfield a scrambling quarterback now?
Maybe.
You know what? I'm obviously joking. But Mayfield has 55 rushing yards on the season, which ranks 11th in the league. Even when he's not scrambling, he's making big plays with his legs. Baker is a gamer, and his teammates feed off that energy.
He plays with a certain swag that just spills off onto everybody else. I mean, when I see him and he pops out a run, it makes me want to go out there and just fly through a brick wall.
We literally, want to fight for him, you feel me? I get so happy when I see stuff like that, and I'm just like, Baker, we got your back. Just know that.
From a passing perspective, Baker Mayfield has the 2nd best passer rating in the league and is a big reason why the team ranks 5th in third down conversions. Someone he'll have a tough time with is Patrick Surtain. At number 7, the man who surpassed Antoine Winfield Jr. for the most lucrative contract for a DB will likely shadow Mike Evans in this contest. Denver is boasting a top 5 passing defense, allowing 134 yards through the air on average. Surtain certainly helps in those efforts. The Bucs' 13th ranked aerial attack will definitely be tested.
So now let's talk about the injury issues, Evan. At number 6, we'll go to our sideline segment where we highlight who is hurt for the Buccaneers, and there are a handful of players out for this upcoming contest. Baker Mayfield will not have his right tackle as Luke Gedeke will miss his 2nd straight game with a concussion. Todd Bowles is also going backwards with the health of his defense. No Kalijah Kancey, no Antoine Winfield Jr., plus Vita Vea is doubtful after suffering a knee injury in Detroit. Hopefully this team is at full strength in a couple of weeks. The defense will have to dig into its depth again after the guttiest win in the Todd Bowles tenure, Evan.
Yeah, at number 5, we just want to highlight a handful of players who entered the season as rotational or backup pieces and provided a Herculean effort against the Lions. And let's start with Christian Izien. The guy was a starter last year, loses his job this season, plays cornerback for the first time since high school Week 1, and then moves over to safety in Week 2, snagging a huge red zone interception in the 4th quarter.
Then there's Tyke Smith, the man who took Izien's job. He was sick all of last week with flu-like symptoms and was doing walkthroughs in a mask leading up to the game in Detroit. The Lions targeted him 11 times, the most of any Bucs defender, and they got 6 receptions for 60 yards.
Then there's Servassier Dennis. He's a guy who splits time with KJ Britt, typically plays more in passing situations, and man, he might have been the best player on the field in the 4th quarter, tied Jordan Whitehead with 11 tackles.
In the trenches, shout out to Greg Gaines. He played 78% of the snaps, the most since joining the franchise last year. He led the team with 45 pass rushes, which is a ton of work for someone at his position.
Yeah, that's some big boy work, and we could do this for a while, but it just goes to show you, David, no NFL team makes it the entire season without dipping into that depth, having these guys step up is a great sign moving forward.
You're 100% right. Also, a lot of young players are getting meaningful reps, which will help the team, hopefully, towards playoff football. And you know what? This seems like a great time to bring in James Yarko for our Locked On Bucs burning question of the week. And James, are you buying the defensive depth on this team? And did that win in Detroit make Tampa Bay a legitimate Super Bowl contender?
Yeah, I absolutely am buying the depth on this team. And you can go back to when the initial 53-man roster was announced, right? The Buccaneers keep 11 defensive backs. And if you take a look at all those guys, they kept them because they can play multiple positions. Those were versatile players that Todd Bowles could utilize all over the field. The Bucs have slowly but very intelligently rebuilt this defense from the Super Bowl years. So did the win against Detroit solidify them as Super Bowl contenders? I think at the very least, it's put them in the conversation. This is a team that has been ignored and overlooked all offseason. All the talk has been about Atlanta. Now all the talk is about New Orleans. They continue to be overlooked in part because of the injuries, in part because of Baker Mayfield, but they went out there on the road and beat a team that has been talked about as Super Bowl favorites out of the NFC. What is really going to be telling is the stretch coming up after Denver, when they have to face Philadelphia, when they have to face Atlanta twice, face New Orleans. That is going to be the true test.
Gotta get through today first. Thank you so much, James. At number 4, Broncos head coach Sean Payton makes his first trip to Ray J since a 9-0 win in 2021. Payton historically has crushed the Bucs, going 20-11 against his former rival. Payton also hasn't lost a regular season game against Tampa Bay since 2018. He doesn't quite have the same weapons as he did in Nolans, though, David.
Yeah, because respectfully, there's a big difference between Drew Brees and Bo Nix. Respectfully. At number 3, the rookie makes his third career start against the Todd Bowles-led defense. Since arriving to town in 2019, Bowles is 11-5 against rookie quarterbacks, including a win against Jaden Daniels in Week 1. Nix has yet to throw a touchdown pass. He's averaging less than 200 yards through the air, has 4 interceptions to boot. Denver has 1 touchdown this year, and it's a Nix scramble late in the fourth quarter against Seattle.
Yeah, he's also been horrific throwing the ball beyond 10 yards. And this will segue nicely into number 2, which is keeping it a buck. First time we're doing this segment in 2024, David.
I love this segment. This is where we check out press conference sound, listen to a soundbite, tell you what the player really wanted to say in front of that hot microphone. First up, let's stick with Bo Nix talking about an interception he threw last week.
Bo, can you take us through the interception in the end zone?
Drop back, threw it to the other team.
So if we're keeping it a buck, Bo Nix wants to be like, look, what do you want me to tell you? I messed up. I got 0 tutties. I have 4 picks. I'm making my second career start, and I don't have the world's greatest playmakers on offense. I don't have good answers in general right now while I'm on the field, so I'm certainly not going to have great answers when I'm walking off the field talking with you. And now let's go to our next soundbite. Baker Mayfield talking about Bryce Young getting benched.
I'm sitting here right now in a way better fit than the other places I've been, and that's not to put other teams down, but it's a matter of the pieces around you, the coaches, and for Bryce, a guy that, I can relate to this, finding that belief within yourself again, and he'll get it.
If we're keeping it a buck, Baker Mayfield was trying to say when you have bad leadership from the ownership level, that negativity trickles down to the players. As a number 1 overall pick, you're asked to be the savior on a team that is atrocious because, if they were good, they wouldn't have been drafting that low. Baker had 4 head coaches in Cleveland. Bryce is on his 3rd. Sometimes there's only so much a guy can do. By the way, Baker hates the Panthers. Okay, last one, Liam Cohen talking about the rushing game in Detroit.
I'll be honest, we missed some runs at the end of the game. We missed 2 runs at the end of the game that in a game like that, where you need to extend drives and run the football to close out a game the way we want to be able to close out a game, we can't miss those runs.
If we're keeping it a buck, Liam Cohen is saying Rachaad White has to be better in the fourth quarter. There were only 3 runs in the final 7 minutes of play, so yeah, Liam's calling White out. He's his closer. And this wasn't all on White either because Bucky Irving got 2 carries in the fourth quarter, and neither one of these guys popped for more than 4 yards. I know the offensive line isn't perfect. I know there were miscommunications, but not every play is a bust, and somebody in that backfield has to go out there and make a play.
Finally, at number 1, Liam Cohen never wants to settle for field goals. But if he does, he's got a dependable guy in Chase McLaughlin. McLaughlin has already hit 5 field goals, 2 of them longer than 50 yards. There is not a kicker in NFL history with a better field goal percentage beyond 50 than McLaughlin. He's sitting at nearly 84%. Also, dating back to last year, he's made 23 consecutive field goals in the regular season. If he misses, it ain't my fault. Time for our parlays of the week.
On.
Evan and I both lost you money last week, but we got a pair of winners here. Bo Nix, he gonna throw a pick, y'all. Come on, let's be real. I'm taking Mike Evans under 66.5 yards because Pat Surtain is elite, and because he's not open, Baker should scramble for at least 10 yards.
Yeah, for me, I think Rachaad White has a plus matchup to get going. I think Cade Otton goes under his yards, considering the O-line needs some help with Gedeke out. Plus, I got Mike Evans tutty against Surtain in the red zone. On 10 Tampa Bay, we got the late game airing Miami in Seattle with kickoff at 4:05. This will be the first game for the Dolphins since Tua Tagovailoa was thrust back into concussion protocol. He is now on the injured reserve and out at least the next 4 games. Checking out our Blitz picks record, I got to give you credit, David. You took the Bucs, I did not. So not only are you one up on me in the parlays, but you are one up in the standings as well. David, you get the honors with the prediction.
Okay, so here we go. I think this will be a game that the Bucs grind out. The Broncos have a good defense, but the Bucs are the better team. I'm taking Tampa Bay 17-13.
Yeah, this is such an awful spot for the Bucs, but I got them winning 23-17. I think it could get sluggish to start before ultimately getting the job done against Denver. I just can't take Bo Nix against Todd Bowles for the upset. Hopefully, we are both right. Hopefully, David didn't mush Chase McLaughlin. That's all we got for you. It's on you now. The boys will be going at 1 o'clock, taking on the Denver Broncos from Ray J. That is David Schiele. I am Evan Closky. This is The Blitz. We will be back same time, same place next weekend.